Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. If you're new here, I am Whitney and I am a stay-at-home mom of 4 little girlies, the last 2 of those little girlies being 10-month-old twins. And I am married to my high school sweetheart. We've been married for almost 9 years, literally in like a week and a half. And we are on a house-wide health journey, but my husband and I are on a weight loss journey. I'm currently down 18 pounds in the last 2 months, and my husband is down about 45, maybe 50 pounds now in the last, I would say 4 months, 6 months maybe. Today I wanted to talk about the mindset shift it took for me to get to where I am today. I have gone on weight loss journeys before and even shared them with you, and this time is a complete 180 to all the other times I have tried to lose weight in the past, and I am so thankful for it. So I wanted to share the 4 top tips I have for changing your mindset and the things I did and implemented to get to where I feel like weight loss is easy for me. So let's get into it. First things first, I think we need to talk about where all this started, which was about 6 months ago. I would say it was September. Sorry, I think a chicken's laying an egg. I think it was about September last year. God really laid on my heart a conviction of the foods he provided for us are meant to fuel our body. I was actually listening to my Bible and I was listening to Genesis, and the way he was like so forward with Adam is like, I give you these things for you to eat, like for you to nourish your body, the animals, the plants, all these things. And it really got me thinking, like, if you've watched my old grocery hauls, we were a junk food family through and through. We were Doritos, gummies, ice cream, all the things, which I'm not saying you can't have fun foods, but we definitely were not eating good ingredients. And if you look at the ingredients and what we were eating, I don't even know if it was considered food. So that was a conviction he laid on my heart. So it started off with me starting to make everything from scratch about 6 months ago. I don't do that anymore. It got exhausting. To not really track my calories. I might have actually gained a little bit of weight because I was eating a lot of homemade sourdough. But then I would say about 3 months ago, it got me wanting to start losing weight, but I wasn't tracking calories or anything like that. But then about 2 months ago, I buckled down and I said, you know what? I would like to get my macros done. I want to track my calories. I want to track my protein. I want to track all these things. And since then, I've lost right at 18 pounds. And I'm super proud of myself and thankful for it. So with all this, it all started from a conviction from the Lord. I'm becoming my happiest self. And I'm going to tell you the 4 mindset shifts I had with all of that. My first switch, I want to say, is how I view food. Food used to be the most exciting part of my day. I looked forward to every meal I was going to eat that day. I love food. I am a foodie through and through. I am a cook. I love to cook. I love to make new things. I love to try new things. But like I said, a lot of the stuff I was buying from the grocery store wasn't food. It was like plastic in the shape of food. You know what I mean? So I really just looked at food for enjoyment, and now I look at food to fuel my body. So you ever heard the saying, like, you're living to eat instead of eating to live? Well, now I'm living to eat. No, now I'm eating to live. I used to live to eat. So it was a very big change for me. Honestly, a very big change. I'm not gonna lie. But it kind of just flipped a switch in my head, and the Lord 100% did it for me because it helped me get over my food addiction. I am no longer addicted to food, and be able to say that is so freeing. I looked forward to every meal I was going to eat every day, and now I look forward to eating food that's going to give me energy, that's going to give me the fiber I need, that is colorful and that God made, and I am just so thankful for that. And when I say that, I don't mean that I don't still enjoy food. I do, but I enjoy healthier options. I enjoy finding healthier food that I enjoy, basically. So switching my mindset from food for entertainment to food for fuel was the first key for me. And it's a complicated one, but once it just clicks in there, it clicks. And honestly, it gets easier when you cut out the ultra processed food and you cut out fast food. I quit eating fast food 6 months ago and I haven't had it since. I don't even think about a Chick-fil-A anything. I don't even think about McDonald's. I don't think about burger. Like, honestly, it makes me gag when I see other people eating like a Chili's triple dipper. Well, like, I don't know. I'm just in my head now. I'm like, that just does not sound good to me. But I got to a point because I want whole real food that I don't eat out really that much. And if I do, I try to go to like a restaurant that has like a nice meat choice or something like that, which I'm not saying you can't have stuff. I'm just saying the more you eat it, the more you're going to want it. So we have to think about that. Number 2, I changed the outlook I had on exercise. I know I'm not the only one that viewed exercise as a punishment my body had to go through to make my body smaller. I know I'm not the only one that thought that. It just felt like I was making myself do something I hated. So I want to say the number one thing is God gave us this body, we need to steward it, right? Which means taking care of our bodies, feeding it nutritious food. I think a lot of people take the verse where it says our body's a temple as don't get tattoos and don't get piercings, and people don't look further into it as maybe don't be gluttonous and maybe let's watch what we eat and be healthy. So that's a big thing for me. But 2 is finding an exercise that you enjoy, because it's a privilege to move our body. The Lord gives us that ability every day, and I'm thankful for it. But it is a privilege to move our body, and I feel like it's our responsibility to be active. If you have the ability to move your body, move your body. So find what you enjoy moving your body. Some people like doing a dance class. I really love walking. I now have held myself accountable to walking 10 to 15,000 steps a day. And actually it's very easy. It's not as hard as I thought it would be. You don't have to do it all at once. You can do it throughout the day, but just getting in on my Apple Watch that I had 10 to 15,000 steps a day makes me feel very accomplished. And I also like to weightlift, but I don't love going to the gym to weightlift. So loading all my children up in the car to take them to the gym, to put them in childcare, to go work out for an hour, to get them out of childcare, to put them in the car, to come back home 30 minutes away does not sound great to me. So we did end up doing some dumbbells and things like that at home, and I can just weightlift like 3 days a week at home. And I like that. That feels good to me. Feels like I'm getting my muscles engaged enough and I'm not overdoing it to a point where I dread it. And that's what's important. Find what works for you. Pilates, Zumba, walking. It's free. There's so many YouTube things that are free. Just move your body. And if you say, I don't have time to exercise, I would like to know how much time you scroll on your phone. And I'm not trying to say that to be mean, because I've had the excuse before too. Like, I have 4 kids, I don't have time to exercise. I did. You know how much my screen time was? I was having like 9 hours a day on my screen time, and that's not okay. So now if I want to scroll on my phone, I take a walk and I scroll on my phone. And then I can habit stack. But a lot of times we use the excuse like I don't have time, but you really do. You just need to take it away from something else that maybe isn't benefiting you. Number 3 is a huge change for me from the last time I was on a weight loss journey, and that is focusing on the quality of my food over the calories of my food. And I'm not saying that I'm not tracking my calories. I am. I do track my calories, but the last time I tracked calories before now, it made me scared of different foods. Do you know how scared I was of butter? Do you know how scared I was of cheese, of like full fat dairy, of really so many foods, sweeteners, maple syrup, honey, things like that? I was the queen of a sugar-free sweetener before. Now I don't eat them. Every once in a while I'll have a little stevia or a little monk fruit. Like, I use one pudding powder that I get from Thrive Market or Whole Foods, and it does have stevia in it, but that's it. The rest of the time I'm sweetening with maple syrup or honey, or sometimes raw cane sugar, but usually I try to stick to maple syrup. And with that, I used to try to find the lowest calorie thing at the grocery store, like 45 calorie bread, the fat-freest thing I could get. And by the way, our brains need fat. But it was just trying to get all these things that were like as low calorie as I could have, so I could have more. But it didn't matter if the quantity was more, because the quality was so low, it made me just want to eat more and more and more. I was never actually satiated, ever. That fat-free cheese, it tastes like plastic and it's not satiating. And not to mention, a lot of those low-calorie things really hurt your stomach. Like, really hurt your stomach. So in my mind, it wasn't worth it. Now, and I'm like, how was I eating this before? I was basically eating cardboard. And now if I want some butter on my eggs, like if I'm gonna saute my eggs in butter, I just weigh it out. Okay, I use like 3 grams of butter. It's plenty to fry eggs in. And then I will use real avocado oil, and then I use real cheese, and I use real milk and maple syrup and honey and all these things because God gave these to us. Maple syrup comes from a tree. Honey comes from bees. Why in the world would I use this fake sugar instead of just using something God gave us? Right? And stevia is a leaf, and there's monk fruit, that's too. But like, why am I using all these things that hurt my stomach? Why? When I could just use a little bit and measure it. And honestly, you feel so much more satiated that it actually allows me to stay in my deficit because it doesn't make me feel like I'm still craving something sweet because I actually got something real. Do you know what I mean? So I focus on the quality of the food over how many calories that individual thing is. And when I tell you it's never been easier to stick in my calorie deficit than it is now, I'm 100% honest. And my body's getting all the nutrients it needs, and that just feels great. Number 4, and one that was hard for me, was learning my hunger cues. I grew up a member of the Clean Plate Club. There's kids across the world starving, so you need to eat that club. Not to mention with all the processed food we had in the 90s and the early 2000s. Do y'all remember purple ketchup and green ketchup? Or does that just me? Anyway, all these things that like we were just taught over time, and having to unlearn that, like I don't have to finish my plate if I'm not hungry. I don't have to eat if it's not a mealtime. Like if just because it says it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, if I'm not hungry, I don't have to eat lunch. That's okay. Or if I'm just like a little hungry, I could just have a snack, like a high protein snack. But learning that just because we feel like there's rules around the clock when it comes to food doesn't mean you have to follow them is a huge, huge thing. And so when I was a kid, I was growing up, and if I could have just ate dinner and somebody's like, I'm going to McDonald's, would you like something? I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. I'll take some chicken nuggets. But now I'm like, am I actually hungry? No, thank you. I don't need that. I'm not hungry. And things like that. So learning your hunger cues and knowing like when you're hungry, when you're bored, when you're actually hungry, whenever you just like feel like you're obligated to eat, it's okay. You don't have to eat if you're not hungry. And also along with that, when it comes to tracking your calories, if you've tracked your whole plate and you're full, like with 2 bites left, you don't have to finish those just so you can hit your protein goal. If you're full, you're full. Step away. You don't need it. You can save it for later if you need a snack later, but just, you don't have to finish it. Okay. I promise you'll be okay. If you need to, start out with a smaller portion and then add more if you need to. But don't overestimate and then punish yourself by making yourself finish something just because it's already tracked in your app. It's okay. You don't have to finish it. Your macros are not that important to like not listen to your hunger cues. Just listen to your body first. I highly recommend if you have kids, don't make them be a part of the Clean Plate Club. We don't do that in our house. We are like, if your tummy says you're full, you're full. Okay, that's all right. All these 4 things together or separate, I feel like seem so incredibly simple. But until I implemented them in my life, and if I hadn't, I don't think I would see the success I have seen already with weight loss than before. I think it does help that we don't eat out. We mostly eat at home. And we really care about the quality of our food. That's really important to us. You can see that in my grocery hauls. But switching to food as fuel, enjoying moving my body, really kind of changing all the things I learned over time has become just such second nature now that I feel like weight loss has become easy for me. And I say that not lightly because it took some time to get here, but with the Lord's help and working and just trusting every day, and I'm here and I'm thankful. I mean, almost 20 pounds down in 2 months is crazy. And I'm trying to lose 50 more before I turn 30. I would like to be under 200 pounds before I turn 30. I am at 247.8 today. I turned 30 on the 23rd of September. So it's definitely doable. I definitely can do it. So that is my goal. And I am just turning into the happiest version of myself, and I've never felt so good. So I am so thankful for trying to be healthier versus just trying to be smaller. So I just want to encourage you that if you feel like you've been struggled your whole life up and down with weight, really work on your mind, work on your mindset, seek out the Lord. And you can't just seek out the Lord and not make the changes yourself. You have to do that. He will just be there to help you and guide you, but you still have to make the changes. So I encourage you to do that. I do have a little Q&A after here that people ask me from Instagram, so I'm going to put that in here. And I just want to say you got this and you can achieve whatever goals you set your mind to. So question number 1 is, how do I deal with school treats for my kids? One thing is important. I think if you don't know, one of my daughters is going gluten-free because I'm hoping it's gonna help with her allergies. But I just let them have them as long as they try to avoid what has the food dye in them. Like their field day was last week and they had popsicles, and I told Kaylin, I was like, let's not get a red, a purple, or an orange, okay? Because I care about all the food dyes, but mainly red 40 for her ADHD. So I was like, let's just avoid those. But I do let them have them. It's about a balanced life. It's not about punishing my kids. But when it comes to treats at home, I always have a healthier alternative. And then someone asked what was different this time than last time. I feel like I explained that in this whole video, but honestly, it's just your mindset, the way you look at it, the way you change your outlook on life, honestly, I think was the biggest thing for me this time. And then someone asked how I educated myself on a lot of things. I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and from there I would go do research with like the people who were on the podcast. So you just learn about like things that aren't good for you. But if you don't want to do the research, there are so many people who have already done it for you. Like you can follow the Just Ingredients page. She has products herself, but she tells you healthy swaps to make at like Target and things like that for your everyday. And it just makes a big difference. One more person asked if we switched everything cold turkey. No, that would have been so expensive. So instead of switching everything cold turkey, we switched one thing at a time as we ran out of them. And then as I needed to buy new, I would just buy the better version. I'm not going to say that it's not more expensive. It can be, but also it doesn't have to be. If you're doing just whole foods mostly, it's actually probably going to be cheaper. But if you are wanting to get like the processed like snacks, but like the healthier version, it probably is going to be more expensive. That's when I would send you somewhere like Thrive Market, or even Whole Foods has great sales. So that's what I would say. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped somebody out there as much as this probably would have helped me. And I hope I can be that help for someone else. And if you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll be so happy to answer them. Thank you so much. Bye.